Guys, today's video is brought to you by Storyblocks. How's it going, guys? Chat GPT is the world's smartest AI chatbot. It's literally the biggest news story in the tech world right now, and people are using it for all sorts of crazy things, like to write emails, write and research video scripts, code website HTML, code After Effects expressions, help brainstorm video titles, give relationship advice, complete complex math assignments, literally anything. It's literally blowing everyone's mind right now just because of how real and how intelligently it feels and communicates. In today's video, I'm going to pit myself, a supposedly talented video editor, against the supposedly all-knowing Chat GPT. I right now have a list of open-ended college-level video editing questions. Both Chat GPT and myself will proceed to answer each question. Now here's the thing, I'm going to need you in the comments in real time tell me who answered the question better. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, question 1. What are some common challenges that you face when editing a music video? One challenge I always face is making sure that I have a smooth and effective pre-production process, meaning the storyboarding, communicating with the client, making sure that the client knows exactly what is to be expected so that I can manage those expectations even before I even start shooting, so that by the end of the post-production process, by the time I'm done editing, there's no surprises and all of the corrections and revisions are hopefully minimal. As you continue to work with more and more clients, whether it be for music videos or any other type of video production, I feel like you'll begin to see your pre-production process get smoother and more efficient. All right, let's see what ChatGPT says. ChatGPT says there are a number of challenges that arise when editing a music video. Some common ones include: number 1, sync issues. Number 2, choosing the right footage. Number 3, maintaining a cohesive visual style. Number 4, working with a tight deadline. And number 5, staying within budget. Dang, that was a good answer. That's interesting. One could say that ChatGPT actually answered the question more correctly because the question was talking specifically about editing, and in my response, was talking more about pre-production. I do want to say that having an effective pre-production very much directly affects editing, but I gotta give credit. This answer is more complete. All right, guys, real quick, before we move on, I wanna see if Chat GPT really knows our industry. I'm gonna type in, what are some examples of how I can use Storyblocks to make my video edits better? Today's video is actually sponsored by Storyblocks, but instead of having me tell you why you should use them, let's see what Chat GPT says. I have my answer here. It says Storyblocks is a subscription-based service that provides access to a library of stock media, including videos, images, and audio clips that you can use in your video edits. Here are a few ways that you can use Storyblocks to enhance your video edits. Number 1, add background music. Number 2, use their stock footage. Number 3, enhance transitions with their selection of video transition packs, I would assume. If you need to add graphics or visual effects to your video, Storyblocks has a library of pre-made elements that you can use, and this can save you time and resources on creating your own custom graphics. Lastly, it says that Storyblocks has a variety of video templates that you can use to create professional looking videos quickly and easily. And there you have it, guys. The smartest AI that man has built has literally shown you just now why you should use Storyblocks. Shout out to them for sponsoring this video, and make sure to click the link in the description to start your subscription. Now on to the next question. Second question, I'm already sweating. In your opinion, what sets a professionally edited music video apart from an amateur one? Let me think. There's something that comes from just literally being a professional in the industry, where you have seen so many video edits from professional, incredibly talented video editors just over the years that are way more talented than you are, that gives you an edge on the amateur. People always tell you that it's not good to compare yourselves with other people, but I think in the realm of video editing and perfecting your skill and making sure that you don't get stuck in this rut of like quality blindness where you don't even know what looks good to shoot for as far as what your potential should be, I think comparing yourself is a really, really good habit to have. I remember back in the day, I used to watch Vimeo for hours and hours, just literally breaking down and reverse engineering what I know the world and the industry would think of as an objectively good edit, and then constantly comparing my edit to that and trying to figure out, okay, let me break this down to the elements and figure out what is specifically different between my edit and this edit. So going back to the question, going back to what separates a professionally edited music video from an amateur video, it's the knowledge of hours and hours of objectively good edits that you can constantly pit your edit against. Okay, now that was kind of a broad answer. I feel like Chat GPT is gonna kill me again and give a highly specific answer with a lot of different points. We'll see what it does. Okay, chat says there are several factors that can set a professionally edited music video apart from an amateur one. Some of these include syncing. A professionally edited music video will have the music and visuals perfectly synced. Cohesive visual style. Interesting. Professional grade equipment and software. Attention to storytelling. Ooh, that is a big one that I've talked about in the past. That's crazy that Chat GPT was able to, in 2 seconds, mentally push this out. This is crazy. Number 5 is polished final product. Great answer so far. Okay, question number 3. If I was editing a music video to a 4/4 time signature, meaning each measure in the song has 4 beats, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. At what beat or beats would I normally feel led to cut on, and why? I'm actually very curious what ChatGPT is gonna say regarding this one. This is a question that comes up a lot. I feel like we've actually made a video about it. I don't necessarily have my own answer to this, but I have what my bro's answer would be. Really talented friend by the name of Richie. According to Richie, and I feel like it makes sense, most people want to cut on the 1 and the 3. Those are the downbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that right there is the answer. Richie has a theory which is really good, that we should maybe start cutting more on the 2 and the 4 because it's less predictable. That's a whole other thing. I'll link the video down below. It's a really good video. Let's see what Chat GPT says though. Wow. It guessed it. Chat GPT says, in general, it is common to cut on the downbeat, which is the first beat of the measure. In music, in 4/4 time signature, this would be beat 1. There are a few reasons why this is a common practice. The downbeat is the strongest beat in a measure, and cutting to it can create a strong sense of rhythm and momentum in the video. Wow. Cutting on the downbeat helps to emphasize the music and keep it in sync with the visuals. Crazy. That being said, it is not a hard and fast rule to always cut on the downbeat. Depending on the needs of the music video, you may want to cut on other beats or even in between beats to create different effects. The key is to experiment and define what works best for the specific music and visuals you're working with. Wow. This is crazy. I promise this is in real time. I actually did not expect ChatGPT to understand the question. Wow. Okay, next question. How much would you charge to edit a complex music video? Let's say that this video has minimal VFX, but featured an A-list hip-hop artist performing a total of, say, 30 performance takes. There's also about 30 minutes of B-roll footage that was filmed in 3 different locations around Los Angeles, okay? The B-roll footage constructs a storyline that complements the performance shots. Okay, that's a lot to think about. So basically, the question is, what would I charge for a semi-basic music video edit? 30 performance shots is not unusual for an entire music video. Spread across a few different locations, then I have to cut down maybe 30 minutes of B-roll to put on top of those performance shots. Gotcha. I would start at maybe $4,000. Seems like a fair price. Let's see what chat says, because this is kind of a more subjective question. It is difficult for me to provide an accurate cost estimate for editing a complex music video without more information about the specific scope of the project, the level of quality and the polish that is expected, and the timeline for completing the work. Editing a music video can involve a wide range of tasks, including syncing the music video, choosing the right footage, adding special effects and transitions, and more. In general, the cost of editing a music video can vary widely depending on the number of factors, including the length and the complexity of the video, the number of people involved in the project, and the level of quality that is expected. Some factors that could affect the cost of editing a music video with the features you described might include the number and complexity of the performance takes, the amount of B-roll footage, the level of polish and quality expected, the overall complexity of the project. Without more information about the specific project you have in mind, it is difficult to provide a more accurate cost estimate. It would be best to consult with a professional video editor to get a more detailed quote based on the specific needs of your project. Okay, kind of a cop-out answer. I would have been impressed if they just spit out a specific amount, $3,000, and then defended it to the T. But I get it. This is a safe answer, and I could see actually it might be a helpful answer because I didn't talk about a lot of these specifics as far as the parameters that would be involved in this edit. So kudos. Comments, tell me who won that one. Question number 5. Let's say you want to animate any effect in Premiere Pro over a period of time in a really smooth way. Tell me how you would do it in 2 sentences. Okay, so I want to animate okay, this is easy. This is keyframes. I want to animate an effect over a period of time. I would go to the stopwatch in the effect, and then I'd create one keyframe, set the parameter of the effect, then skip ahead to the next keyframe, create that keyframe, set the parameter of the effect, and then see the animation happen between both of those keyframes. Let's see what chat says. Chat says, to animate an effect in Premiere Pro in a smooth way, you can use keyframes to specify the starting and ending values for the effect, then use the graph editor to adjust the rate of the change between those effects to create a smooth animation. I forgot about that. You can use the graph editor to adjust the shape of the curves between the keyframes, which will control the rate of change and create a more gradual and smooth transition. I didn't read the question completely and all the way. I knew that. That was a shout out to Chat GPT. It actually... Obviously, you create keyframes, but in order to make them smooth, you got to go into the graph editor and then smooth out that curve. Question 6 is, using words, explain an impressive original transition that you would build in Premiere Pro in between 2 clips in a fast-paced music video edit. You need to use at least 2 default Premiere effects. Oh my gosh, this is a crazy question. Okay, the transition that I would make is, I would put an adjustment layer over both of those clips that are stick together, clip 1 and clip 2. And then on that adjustment layer, I would put a transform effect and bump the scale up. Then I would mask out that transform effect using a mask effect on that adjustment layer. And then I would duplicate that 3 times. And so that I basically have a bunch of popping out scaled in squares. I've actually made an effects pack called the Box Lens Transition Pack, and it basically does this. It sounds complex, but it's actually really easy. Let's see what Chat GPT says. I feel like it's not going to be able to beat me on this one. Oh snap, I forgot. Let's not make the same mistake and not read the question completely. I'm supposed to use 2 effects. Okay, so let's put another adjustment layer on top and then add a exposure effect. So I'm going to go to Lumetri color, drag it onto that 5th adjustment layer, I guess, and then just make the exposure brighter by like 2. And so there will be a light flash as well as the box popping lens effect as well as you go from clip 1 to clip 2. Beat that, ChatGPT. One impressive original transition that could be built in Premiere Pro for a fast-paced music video edit would be a split screen transition. To create this transition, you would start by duplicating the first clip and placing it on top of the second clip in the timeline. This is crazy. Next, you would use the transform effect to scale and rotate the top clip so that it covers only half of the screen. You would then use the gradient white effect to gradually reveal the second clip underneath the top clip using a gradient with a sharp transition between the 2 colors. Oh my gosh. Finally, you would use the speed and duration effect to adjust the speed on the top clip so that it spins around and reveals the second clip underneath in a fast and dynamic way. This transition would combine the power of the transform and gradient white effects to create a unique and visually striking transition that would be well suited for a fast-paced music video edit. Damn, I can't quite visualize that right now. I'm gonna have to, when I'm editing this video, actually look at these directions and recreate this in Premiere so that you can see what Chat GPT is saying, but this sounds impressive. Damn. All right, guys, question number 7 is, let's say that you have an audio clip and you'd like that clip to end with an echo that continues in the Premiere Pro timeline after the clip ends. How would you do this? I know how to do this. We've done 500 tutorials over the course of 6 years, and we've definitely done this tutorial before. This has to do with adding an audio effect to the track as opposed to the clip. I can't just say this completely from memory, but I know it has to do with going into the track editor and then picking the track that you want to apply the effect on and then applying the reverb effects on the track, not the clip, bumping that reverb parameter to like 10,000, and bam, you can place any type of music or video or audio on the track, and then after the audio ends, the playhead will continue moving past the end of that audio clip and you'll hear an echo from the end of the clip. It's pretty cool. All right, ChatGPT seemed pretty confident. Let's see what it says. To create an echo effect that continues in Premiere Pro after an audio clip ends, you can use the echo effect in the audio effects panel. To do this, follow these steps. Select the audio clip in the timeline, then go to the audio effects panel. In the audio effects panel, scroll down to the delay and echo category and select the echo effect. In the echo effect settings, adjust the delay parameter to determine how long the echo will be. To ensure that the echo continues in the timeline after the audio clip ends, you'll need to extend the duration of the audio clip. To do this, you can use the time stretch tool, which is located in the tools panel. Simply hover over the end of the audio clip until you see the time stretch tool cursor, then drag the edge of the clip to the right to extend its duration. This is a wrong answer. 1 point for me. Every one of you guys in the comments, you better give me this point. This is not right. This is saying that you can technically extend it after the clip ends by just extending the length of the clip so that it ends later. No, I was talking about the clip actually ends and you can actually hear an echo effect after there's no clip in the timeline, when the playhead is just playing on a bunch of nothing. Clip has already ended. You're hearing the echo after the end of the clip. Question 8. The aesthetics of default text and titles in Premiere Pro tends to suck. It usually looks cheap, like it's unnaturally laying on top of the video, and it has the tendency to ruin a perfectly good-looking video edit. I would agree. What are ways that you could make sure that your text positively affects the aesthetics of your edit? Okay, I've done tons of tutorials about this too. One thing that I do is I usually put a noise and grain filter on top of the text just to make it seem like it's sticking to the footage. Most footage that you shoot will have at least a minimum amount of noise that will be embedded in the footage. Any text that you put that is digitally created in Premiere is going to have no noise. It's going to be perfectly crisp and clear. So a lot of the time it can give it this really cheap feeling that it's like laying on top of your footage. So if you artificially add noise from Premiere as an effect onto your text, it makes it seem like it's more just inside the footage and not sitting on top of it. One thing that I also do to add a little bit of a 3D effect to the text is I may add a little bit of a gradient, and then I may actually adjust the opacity. So it's, instead of being at 100% opacity, maybe it's at like 99% opacity, so that again, it seems like it's kind of resting in the footage as opposed to on top of the footage. Let's see what chat says. There are several ways that you can make sure that the text and the titles in Premiere Pro have a positive impact on the aesthetics of your edit. Use high quality fonts. That's a good one. Choose fonts that are actually visually appealing. Customize the text. Use the options of the text panel to customize the appearance of your text, such as the color, size, and font style, blah, blah, blah. Number 3, add visual effects. Use the opacity and blending modes options to blend the text with your video footage in a creative way. Use motion graphics. Instead of static text, consider using motion graphics to add visual interest and depth to your titles. Good point. Use compositing techniques. If you want to create an illusion that the text is part of the video footage, you can use compositing techniques such as masking or rotoscoping to blend the text with the background. Good answer. By following these tips, you can use the text and titles in Premiere Pro in a way that enhances your aesthetics of your edit and avoids the cheap and unnatural look that you mentioned. Wow, that was amazing. I was impressed with that answer. Question number 9. When Premiere Pro initiates a bout of continuous crashing, which it can on occasion, what are your 5 initial troubleshooting techniques that you usually use to try to fix the issue? Dang, 5. Okay, so first thing that I do is I see if there's an update. If there's an update to Premiere in the Creative Cloud, I update. Second thing I do is, I don't know if it's in this order, but I make sure that, say, my hard drive isn't just completely full, because that'll give Premiere some issues. Number 3, clear my cache, maybe. Number 4, I want to figure out maybe if there's a corrupt video file. And before I do that, maybe I see if it's a corrupt project. So I try moving all my footage into a new timeline. Number 5, usually I try to render out my entire sequence to see if there's like a corrupt video file in there. And usually it'll end the render right where that video file is. Let's see what chat says. Number 1, check for updates. Make sure that you're using the latest version of Premiere Pro. Repair the installation. Sometimes crashing issues can be caused by a damaged installation of Premiere Pro. Number 3, reset the preferences. Resetting the preferences can sometimes fix crashing issues, okay? Number 4, check for hardware issues. Good point. Maybe it's caused by the actual hardware, your computer. Number 5, check for third-party plugin issues. Good point. Wow, and then it even says at the end, it is a good idea to save your work frequently and create backups for your project files to minimize the risk of losing work due to crashes. Wow, Chat GPT, freaking helpful, giving me information I didn't even ask for. Those were good responses, gotta admit. Question number 10 is a good one. What video editing software will the majority of people be using and editing with in 10 years? Okay, I am a little bit biased. I would say Premiere Pro. It would be the most convenient on my part. Obviously, Premiere Pro has issues just like every other video editing software. It has some issues that some video editing softwares do not have, admittedly, but I've been using it for freaking 10 years, and I would much rather not have to learn a whole new software and just pray that the Adobe team, fixes and perfects the product that they've already made pretty perfect already, in my opinion. Let's see what Chat GPT says. It is difficult to predict with certainty what video editing software the majority of people will be using in 10 years. The field of video editing technology is constantly evolving, and it is likely that new software platforms and tools will emerge in the coming years. That being said, it is possible that some of the more popular video editing software platforms currently in use, such as Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, and Avid Media Composer, will continue to be widely used in the future. I'm sure everyone using DaVinci is pretty angry at now that it was not mentioned. These software platforms have a long history in the industry and have established user bases, and they may continue to evolve and adapt to new technologies and workflows. It is possible that new software platforms or technologies may emerge that disrupt the current landscape and become widely more used. For example, the increasing use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in video editing could lead to the development of new software tools that might be able to automate or assist certain tasks such as color grading and compositing. Ultimately, it is impossible to predict exactly what the future of video editing will look like, but it is likely that the field will continue to evolve and change in response to new technologies and industry trends. A little repetitive in this answer, but I get what it's saying. It can't necessarily give me a straight answer, but I kind of wish it did. If you made it to the end, check out this next video.